Turn 1 crash last weekend?
Yeah, recovering. Thank you. Yeah, it's been obviously quite a short period between the incident and going back on track quite soon. But yeah, I mean I will be okay to race this weekend, which is the most important, and yeah, ready to race.
And when we look at the last couple of races for Alpine, if you guys hadn't had bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. What is your message to the team? What is the mood in the camp after two such frustrating races, two DNFs in both races?
I don't think we can call it on luck, for two instances. I think obviously we are not where we want to be exactly. We know what we have to do. We know where we have to progress. And we are obviously bringing some new parts to the car this weekend. Hopefully that's gonna bring us closer to the top 10 to be able to score. But yes, it's going to be important for us to have a good one before the summer break, so we can all go in holidays with a clear mind.
What are you expecting from the new floor in particular this weekend?
I'm fit to the ground at the moment, just seeing what it's going to bring. Obviously it's going to be the important understanding it as well. It's going to be tricky with the format this weekend, especially how very few tires we have on the wets, or in general for the weekend. So yeah, just want to see if it brings us closer to the point, so we are going to be able to score again. That's what we want to be achieving.
All right, best of luck with that. Thank you, Esteban. Kevin, coming to you now. Now, since you were last in the FIA press conference, you've become a dad for the second time. How is little Agnes, and how are you feeling? Are you knackered? Are you coming to the races for a break?
No, not at all. She's been super good, and everything's been fine. So I'm fresh as always, and ready to go again.
What about the on-track performance? I felt you seemed a little disheartened in Hungary last weekend. Is that fair?
Well, I don't know. I think it's frustration. Is of course building when you see other teams developing and making big gains, and we haven't seemed to make that big step yet. But I still have all the faith in the team that we can turn it around eventually. It's not going to be immediate, but I think we're doing the groundwork to be able to bring that step later on in the year. It's of course frustrating when you don't have it, and we want to be up there scoring points and doing well, and then at the moment it's a bit hard.
Is the car better in race conditions than it was earlier in the year? Is the tyre wear, the tyre deg better?
I think we have made some progress. It's just that overall our performances have dropped compared to our main competitors. But race qualifying versus race, I think that that has improved. Unfortunately, some of the cars that we used to be racing in the beginning of the year have just become much faster overall, and that's why we don't see that gain so much. But yeah, as I said, we're working super hard. The whole team is really working hard, and I think there's still reason to be optimistic for the remaining of the year.
Drive a silly season, Kevin. Gene Haas, your boss, is here this weekend. Are you hoping to sit down with him and nail out a new contract for 2024?
We'll see when it happens, and how that pans out. I think at the moment, there's not any news to bring, and eventually, we'll come around to it. I don't really know what's going on. I feel like the team is pretty happy, but you never know with these things, and I take it one day at a time.
All right, best of luck this weekend. Thank you. Lewis, if we could come to you now. Such contrasting fortunes in Hungary last weekend, it felt. A brilliant Saturday, a slightly more difficult race. Where does that leave you and Mercedes coming into Spa this weekend? What can we expect from you?
I think it leaves us optimistic. I think we had it was amazing to have that experience on Saturday. It shows that there's potential in the car, and everyone's working incredibly hard to bring performance. And I think our end of race pace was very good. We just have to work on we've understood what the issue was at the beginning, and and we've got some upgrades here this weekend. So hopefully that the weather's going to be interesting. But
you mentioned performance there. How much are you still firefighting with the W14, and how much are you actually working on performance?
Well, I mean, as a driver, you're constantly battling the inconsistencies with balance, but we are flat out trying to improve, and just as Kevin says, we're working a lot to analyze where we are and what we can do to try and make those big steps that some of the others potentially have, like McLaren and Red Bull often make. So hopeful and have all the faith in the world that we will eventually get there too.
And Lewis, we're just over the halfway point in the season. Can you just give us a brief summary of how you think it's gone for you and Mercedes so far?
I think it's been decent. I mean, we didn't start where we wanted to be at the beginning of the year, but we just made a lot of progress. There's been a huge amount of progress over the season so far, and hoping that there'll be a lot more in the second phase.
What were your expectations coming into this year?
To be fine for a world championship. That's always the expected. No, honestly, it was just to have be in a much better position than we were last year, and I think that wasn't the case. With all the amazing work that goes on through winter, we kind of started further behind, and so it's been a big, steep uphill climb. But really proud of the team. We're fighting for a second in the championship as a constructors championship, which is definitely something we didn't expect after what we felt at the first test, and that's really down to the great teamwork that's happening in the background.
And the goals for the second half of the season?
My full focus is on to try and secure second for the team. I think everyone back at the factory, it means a huge amount for them, and whilst we can't currently catch the Red Bulls, I think that puts us in good position for next year.
Can you win a race?
At the moment, not quite sure we can currently compete with them race pace. I mean, I think there were times in the last race Max was around 8/10 faster than everyone on a single lap. So, but never say never.
All right. Thank you, Lewis. Best of luck this weekend. Checo, coming to you now. A great race by you on Sunday in Hungary. Do you feel you made the one-lap progress on Saturday that you wanted to last weekend?
Yeah, I certainly feel like we were a lot stronger on that qualifying, but obviously it was a different qualifying, and we got caught out, I think, going on to the soft, and the margins were extremely close. So just being on the wrong tenth of it meant that I started P9 rather than being inside the top 4, top 5. So I think in the regard it was positive.
You said on Sunday night that it's all about consistency for you now. Has the sprint come at a good time for you, or would you rather have more than just the one practice session at the start of the weekend?
I mean, we've done a lot of races and practices. It's the same for everyone, so it doesn't change anything. But we've seen it before. The margins in qualifying are very small. So if you don't get already like Q1 right, it could be very easily out. We saw it last weekend. I think with George, he was out of Q1 and Lewis was on pole, so it can just happen to anyone out there.
Do you think the margins in qualifying, if it's dry, unlikely, but if it's dry, do you think the margins in qualifying will be very small here?
I think so. I think with the new tire, everyone is extremely close, and I see no reason why they should be any different.
All right, and Checo, can you just sum up the first half of the season as well, please? How do you feel it's gone?
I think for the team has been a great first half of the year. It would be great to keep it the same for that second half of the year. On my side, I think I had 4 or 5 weekends where I didn't maximize the full result that I had on the table, and that has cost me a lot of points, but I had a very strong start to the season. And I just think on this second half of the year, I just want to bring my form back and be able to score as many points as possible in the coming races.